You feel everything, the tension in the room, the shift in someone's tone, the sadness behind their smile. You pick up micro expressions and notice subtleties in people's moods before they even realize. Being this sensitive almost feels like living without skin. And in a world that rewards toughness and emotional detachment, that kind of sensitivity feels like a curse. But here's what they never told you. Your sensitivity isn't a flaw, it's your superpower. You were never too much, you were just too rare for people who couldn't hold depth. Today, we're going to talk about how to survive and succeed as a highly sensitive person. I will give you the science, the mindset shift, and later in the video, a healing roadmap so you can finally stop shrinking to survive and start building a life that honors your design. So, what's a highly sensitive person, HSP, and were you born this way? Let's be clear, if you are highly sensitive, you didn't make this up. You are not imagining it. You were born with a more sensitive nervous system. Dr. Elaine Aron, who's a leading psychologist and a pioneer in the field of high sensitivity, her research shows about 15 to 20% of people across all culture have this trait. You process information more deeply, feel things more intensely, and sense potential danger that others miss. This is evolutionary. You were designed to be the tribe's watchtower, the intuitive, the seer, the pattern spotter. You were built for depth, nuance, and emotional intelligence. So yes, you were wired this way. But the catch is, your childhood environment determined how that wiring showed up. There's a theory I love, the Orchid-Dandelion hypothesis. Most people are dandelions. They can grow almost anywhere. But orchids are rare. They need care, calm, and attunement. When they get it, they bloom into something extraordinary. If you were a highly sensitive child, that's you. You are the orchid. And if you grew up in a loving, regulated environment, you probably developed emotional intelligence, creativity, and empathy. But if you grew up in emotional neglect, trauma, overstimulation, or chaos, with emotionally unavailable or unpredictable caregivers, then your nervous system never learned to regulate. And as a result, that same sensitivity that could have made you a genius made you anxious. If you were surrounded by people who couldn't hold your emotions, you learned to suppress them, to hypermonitor, people please, and internalize shame for feeling too much. In doing so, you dimmed yourself just to survive. This is why many adult HSPs struggle with anxiety, low self-worth, or emotional overwhelm because it was misunderstood, punished, or left unsupported. You know you are not too emotional, you just had nowhere safe to place your emotions. But your strengths are scientifically backed. Highly sensitive people actually have a more finely tuned nervous system. Your brain processes information more deeply. Your mirror neurons fire more strongly, and the areas linked to empathy, intuition, and sensory processing are more active. You are not imagining things, you are literally built to notice the things others ignore. That's why crowds drain you, why superficial conversations exhaust you, why you need more rest, more space, more depth. And you feel guilty for it, as if needing peace in a chaotic world is weak. But sensitivity, true sensitivity, is not weakness. It's perception, and perception is power. HSPs have some of the highest emotional intelligence on the planet. You read between the lines, you sense energy shifts, you anticipate needs before they are spoken. You are the artist in the system, the conscience in the group, and the soul in the machine. You don't just feel, you understand. You think in layers, you reflect, you care, you process. That's not something to fix, that's something to harness. Okay, you might ask, if it's a gift, why does it feel like a curse sometimes? Well, because in environments that don't value sensitivity, your gift becomes your pain. And here's where most HSPs get trapped. We spend our entire lives trying to be less. less emotional, less sensitive, less in our head. We try to be normal just to avoid being rejected. But you don't thrive by becoming less of who you are. You thrive by becoming more of what you actually are without apology. Here's a mindset shift. You need to stop seeing your nervous system as the enemy. You are operating at a deeper bandwidth. Some of the world's most successful people are HSPs. Albert Einstein, Carl Jung, Steve Jobs, Richard Branson, and many actors, musicians, artists. They didn't succeed despite the sensitivity, they succeeded because of it. Orchids don't belong in weeds, and you don't belong in environments that suffocate you just to make others comfortable. When you finally stop trying to be like everyone else, you start to win. So here's a 4-step roadmap for HSPs to thrive. First, master the art of emotional containment. You don't need to feel less. You need to learn how to contain what you feel. Think of yourself like a high-performance sports car. You are powerful, fast, and tuned to pick up even the smallest shifts. But you cannot drive that kind of machine on broken roads or without the right steering. Same goes for your emotions. Start labeling your feelings as they arise, like this is sadness, this is anger, this is fear. Naming reduces emotional charge. Then learn emotional regulation tools like breath work, grounding, cold water exposure, or journaling to bleed out the chaos onto paper. Remember that you can feel deeply without drowning. Step 2. Train your mind like an athlete. Your thoughts will try to trick you because the HSP brain processes stimuli deeply, which includes internal stimuli, also known as thoughts. You are not only reacting to what happened, but also to what could happen, what might happen, and what someone else might have meant by what they said 2 years ago. This is where cognitive hygiene is everything. You can practice thought filtering. Not every thought deserves your attention. Ask, is this true? Is this helpful? Would I say this to someone I love? Protect and limit your input and exposure on social media to chaotic people, violent shows, negative news, because they are noise you would absorb like a sponge. Step 3. Structure your environment to protect your nervous system. For example, work where you have control over noise and interruptions. Surround yourself with emotionally intelligent people instead of energy vampires. Choose quality over quantity of friendship, social interactions, and energy investments. The less overstimulated your nervous system is, the more your gifts come online. Step 4. Use your sensitivity to build connection and trust. In a disconnected world, people crave what you naturally offer: authenticity, presence, insight, emotional resonance. You read people, you sense patterns, you feel what others don't even know they are feeling. You know those are marketable superpowers and unique selling points in coaching, leadership, design, writing, marketing, negotiation. Your depth and your ability to just know become your advantage and your currency. Your success isn't going to come from becoming less sensitive. It will come from becoming sharper with your sensitivity. So stop apologizing and start building a life that actually works for who you are. And those, my friends, are how to survive and thrive as a highly sensitive person. Thank you for being here, and please leave a comment below if you found it helpful. I'd really love to hear from you. Oh, I've also prepared another video for you. Guess I will see you there. Bye!